Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about sharpening your image. If I were to go up here to filter and then sharpen, you'll notice that there's quite a bit of sharpening options to choose from. Photoshop's given you an array of choices that you could make when deciding to sharpen an image. But I have a favorite that I like to use when I'm deciding to sharpen an image, and it's the high pass option. It's a really great option when you are looking to export an image or preparing them for print, something along that lines. And it's really easy to use if you just got to know where it is. So the first thing that we would do is we need to come over here and duplicate a layer. We need to be working on a fresh layer. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that layer. Once I duplicate the layer, I'm going to go up here to filter, other, and then choose high pass. When I do that, you'll notice that it's actually going to turn our image this weird kind of crazy gray. What it does is high pass is identifying edges and it smooths out everything else. All of the edges or slight shifts in brightness is what's being recorded here. You can see that all along the edges of this snow leopard here. So once I've got this dialog box open, our high pass dialog box, what we can do is we can move this radius option left and right. Now I have a tendency to tell my Photoshop students, when we are working in the high pass layer, I choose not to push this past 10. By pushing this radius past 10, it has a tendency to act real funky. You could see here that we're getting a little bit of chromatic aberration or ghosting effects around our image. That's too much sharpening. If I wanted to add additional sharpening later, I'll show you how to do that. So I have a tendency to keep this radius anywhere from the starting point to anywhere between 10. And in this particular instance, for this image, it varies from image to image. I think for this image, keeping it somewhere around 3 is going to work well for me. So once I make that determination, I'm going to hit OK. After I choose OK, my next step is to bring back my picture, because obviously this does not look good. So what we're going to do is go up to our blending modes here. Right now it's at normal. We're going to slide down to overlay, and that is going to bring our image back. If I were to turn this high pass layer on and off, you can actually see the sharpening happening. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can get a better look at this. Zoom in on this snow leopard's face. So this is with the sharpening, and this is without the sharpening. With, without, with, without. Pretty powerful option for sharpening an image. It's really easy to use. Now, if I decided I wanted to double up on the sharpening, let's say that I felt I didn't have enough. Well, that's easy. All I'd have to do is make a duplicate of this layer that I just made. So once I duplicate the layer, it gets pretty sharp. I could do this as many times as I want, and it'll just keep getting sharper and sharper. We can overdo it though, so I'm going to delete these layers. I don't actually want these. If I feel like I went too far with the high pass sharpening, then I can always lower the opacity strength of that layer and taper it down a little bit. So if it's too strong of a sharpen, just take my opacity and lower it down into the negative. So this, for me, is one of the best ways of sharpening that I have found. It's the one that I use the most. And whenever I'm wanting to sharpen the entire image, whether it's working in a portrait and I need sharper hair or eyes, or in this case, fur on a snow leopard, or even a landscape for that matter, I'm going to use the high pass option versus any of the other ones. I've just found it to be easier and quite effective, especially effective for preparing our images for print.